Hello, and welcome back to Daily Talk Lessons. I am very happy to be here today. I feel excited because today we will talk about a very fun topic. We will talk about your country. I think it is a beautiful topic because everyone feels something special about their home country. I love talking about where people come from, and I love learning about cultures, food, places, and traditions.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back. I am also very happy to be here. I agree with Emma. The topic of your country is very interesting. When we talk about our countries, we talk about our memories, our family, and our feelings. I think when people talk about their country, we can understand them better. So, I am excited to start our conversation today.
Yes, and we want this podcast to be friendly, simple, and fun. If you are learning English, don't worry. We speak slowly and we use easy English. We want everyone to enjoy and learn at the same time. So, relax, take a deep breath, smile, and let's have a good time.
Exactly. So, in this episode, we will talk about where we come from, what we love about our country, what we miss, and what we are proud of. We will also talk about festivals, food, people, and maybe even some funny stories. We hope you enjoy listening and learning with us today.
Thank you again for joining us. Now, let's start the first part of our conversation. I will start first. I am from Canada. When I say this, I feel warm inside because I have many memories from my childhood there. Canada is a big country with a lot of beautiful nature. There are mountains, lakes, forests, and a lot of snow in winter. Sometimes I miss the snow very much because now I live in a warmer place.
Canada sounds amazing. I am from Brazil. When I think of Brazil, I think of music, beaches, and friendly people. Brazil is very colorful and full of life. Many people like to dance, sing, and enjoy time together. I have a lot of memories of being outside with family and friends. I sometimes miss that energy.
When I think of Brazil, I always imagine sunshine and happy people. Your country looks so lively and exciting. In Canada, the atmosphere is different. It is more calm and peaceful. People are very friendly, too, but life is slower. Sometimes I love the quiet Canadian nature because it helps me relax. But sometimes I also want fun energy like Brazil.
Yes, they are very different styles, but both countries are beautiful. I think that is the amazing part about the world. Every country has something special. Brazil has warmth and passion. Canada has peace and natural beauty. When I travel to other countries, I like to see what makes each place unique. It makes me feel more connected to the world.
You're right. I love hearing about what makes people proud of their home. When I think about Canada, I feel proud of the clean nature and the multicultural society. People from many countries live together. You can hear many languages when you walk on the street. You can eat different foods from around the world. I love that feeling.
Brazil is multicultural too, but in a different way. We have people from Europe, Africa, Asia, and indigenous cultures too. And when they come together, they create a lot of music, art, and strong community spirit. I feel proud of that. Wherever you go, Brazilian people make you feel welcome. I think that is something many visitors notice.
I really want to visit Brazil one day. I want to see the beaches and experience the music and festivals. I think I would really enjoy the culture there. Also, I want to try Brazilian food because I hear it's amazing. When I imagine myself in Brazil, I feel very excited.
You would love it, I am sure. And I also want to visit Canada. I want to see the snow and the mountains, and I want to experience winter sports. I never did skiing or snowboarding before, but I want to try. I also want to see the famous maple trees and taste real Canadian maple syrup. It is one of my dreams.
That makes me happy. I think experiencing another country is one of the best ways to understand the world. When we learn about others, we grow as people. And even though countries are different, I think our emotions are the same. We all feel love, pride, nostalgia, and connection to our home. It is a beautiful thing.
I completely agree. When people talk about their country with love, I really enjoy listening. I think our countries helped shape who we are today. When we tell our stories, we show our hearts. And I think that makes this conversation special.
Sometimes I think about my childhood in Canada and I feel a little emotional. I remember walking to school in the snow with my friends, laughing and talking. The air was cold, but my heart was always warm because I felt safe and happy. I remember drinking hot chocolate after school and watching the snow outside the window. These memories stay with me, and they make me smile even today.
Your memories sound very beautiful, and I can feel the emotion in your words. I also have emotional memories from my childhood in Brazil. I remember playing football on the street with my neighbors until it got dark. I remember the smell of food coming from every house and people talking and laughing outside. When I think of those moments, I feel lucky that I grew up in such a warm and lively place.
It is wonderful how countries shape our childhood. When I think about Canada, I also think about how polite people are. People say sorry, thank you, and please all the time. It is a big part of our culture. I think kindness is something I learned from my country, and I am grateful for it. It makes me proud to be Canadian.
I understand what you mean. In Brazil, people are not always calm, but they are very warm and expressive. When Brazilian people talk, they use their hands, their faces, their voices. They show all their emotions. I think that helped me learn how to express myself, how to show love, and how to share happiness with others. I am proud of that part of my country.
I love hearing that. It is so interesting that people from different countries learn different ways to show emotions. Sometimes, when I see people from Canada and Brazil together, it makes me laugh in a good way. One person is calm and quiet, and the other is exciting and energetic, but somehow they understand each other and they become close. That shows that culture is beautiful.
Yes, I think cultures can blend and connect like music, different styles, different rhythms, but together they create something wonderful. When I meet people from other countries, I enjoy learning how they live, eat, think, and celebrate. It makes life more colorful. And when I share stories about Brazil, I feel happy because I can show a part of myself.
I feel the same. Sometimes when people ask me, "Where are you from?" I feel a warm feeling inside because I get to talk about Canada. It's like I carry a small piece of my country in my heart everywhere I go. Even if I live far away, I never forget where I come from. I think many people feel that too.
Yes, I think home stays in our heart forever. We change, we travel, we grow, but we always remember our country. Sometimes I miss Brazil and sometimes I feel homesick, but I also feel proud because my country helped me become who I am today. It's a beautiful connection.
And the world becomes more beautiful when we share these stories. When I hear about your life in Brazil, I feel like I am visiting your country through your words. I feel the music, the sun, the joy. It makes me want to travel and explore more places in the world. I think talking about our countries helps build friendship between people.
Absolutely, and I think our listeners also feel that. Maybe they are thinking about their countries right now. Maybe they feel love, pride, or nostalgia. If they do, I hope they smile and remember something beautiful from home. Every country has something special, and every person has a story to tell.
When I think about my country, Canada, one of the first things I think about is the food. Canadian food is simple but very comforting. For example, I love maple syrup on pancakes, and even the smell of maple syrup makes me happy. It reminds me of eating breakfast with my family on Sunday mornings. When I taste it today, I feel like I go back to my childhood for a moment.
That sounds delicious and emotional at the same time. For me, Brazilian food is full of strong flavors and energy. I love dishes like feijoada, churrasco, and pão de queijo. They taste amazing and feel like home. In Brazil, food is not just food. It is a way to bring people together. When families eat, they talk, laugh, and stay at the table for a long time. When I smell Brazilian food, I almost hear my family's voices again.
I love that idea, food bringing people together. In Canada, we also eat together on special days, especially on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is one of the biggest holidays in Canada. Families cook a big meal with turkey, potatoes, vegetables, and pumpkin pie. Everyone sits around the table, talks about what they are thankful for, and enjoys time together. It is one of the happiest days of the year for me.
In Brazil, we have many holidays full of music and celebration. One of the most famous is Carnival. Carnival is loud, colorful, happy, and full of dancing. People wear costumes, enjoy music in the streets, and dance with strangers like they're old friends. When I think about Carnival, I can feel my heart beating faster because it is so full of life and joy.
That sounds so exciting. I think Canadians celebrate in a calmer way, but still with love and connection. On holidays like Christmas or New Year, we stay inside with family, eat warm food, exchange gifts, and talk late into the night. The snow outside makes everything feel magical and cozy. Sometimes I miss that feeling when I spend holidays in another country.
I understand you very well, because holidays outside your home country feel different. When I spend Carnival or Christmas in another country, it feels quiet and strange. Even if I have friends around me, I still miss the sounds and smells of Brazil. I think traditions are part of our identity, and when they change, we feel a little empty inside. But at the same time, celebrating in a different place helps me appreciate my country even more.
Yes, exactly. When I lived in Canada, I did not always think about my country, but when I moved away, suddenly I began to appreciate everything. The nature, the food, the culture, even small things like how people say sorry so often. I feel like when you live far from home, your love for your country grows stronger. It is a very emotional experience.
You are right. When I left Brazil, I started to miss things that I never thought about before. The fruit stands on the street, children playing football everywhere, loud conversations in supermarkets, and even the sound of music from houses. I didn't notice how special these things were until I was far away. Now I feel emotional when I remember them.
Do you ever feel two emotions at the same time? Happy because you explore the world, but sad because you are away from your country? I feel that often. I love living in a new place and learning new things. But sometimes I want to go home, even for a short time. I think both feelings are honest and normal. They show that I love where I come from and where I am now.
Yes, I feel the same very often. Sometimes I am proud of myself for traveling and following my dreams, but sometimes I feel a little lonely because my family and old friends are far away. I think that is the reality for many people who live abroad. We carry our country inside us wherever we go, and it becomes a part of our heart we never forget.
Talking about countries like this makes me think about how different, but also how similar people are around the world. We all have feelings about home. We all have favorite foods, favorite memories, favorite holidays. Even if our cultures are different, We understand each other because these emotions are universal. That makes me feel really connected to the world.
I love that thought. Maybe that is why conversations like this feel so meaningful. When we talk about where we come from, we are not just sharing facts, we are sharing our hearts. And when listeners think about their own countries, I hope they feel proud and warm inside. Every country is special in its own way. There is beauty everywhere in the world.
Another thing I love about Canada is the feeling of community during winter. Even though the weather is very cold, people come together and support each other. Neighbors help one another shovel snow, and people drink warm drinks together and talk for hours. Winter is difficult, but it also brings people closer. I think this is a very special tradition of kindness that Canada has.
That sounds very heartwarming. In Brazil, we also have a strong sense of community, but in a different way. Neighbors are very close, and they often visit each other without calling first. People talk outside, invite each other for coffee, and share food with everyone. It feels like the whole neighborhood is part of one big family. And that memory always makes me smile.
Food in Canada is also connected to nature. For example, many families go to the forest to collect maple sap from trees, and later they make maple syrup together. Kids run around, parents cook, and everyone laughs. It's not just a meal, it's an experience, a memory. When I remember that, I feel nostalgic and grateful.
In Brazil, food is also part of traditions. Every Sunday, many families eat together, usually a big lunch with rice, beans, and meat. After eating, people stay at the table for a long time, talking and telling stories. Sometimes we listen to music or dance a little. These moments are simple, but they feel full of love and joy.
I love how food can make everything feel so alive. Even now, when I smell something that reminds me of Canada, I feel warm inside. Sometimes when I cook Canadian food in another country, I feel like my family is with me, even if they are far away. Food has the power to bring memories and emotions back to life. It is truly special.
I do the same. When I miss Brazil, I cook Brazilian food. Sometimes I play Brazilian music while I cook, and suddenly I feel like I'm home again. It gives me energy and comfort. It reminds me that even if I live far away, I still carry my culture inside me. It never leaves.
Another Canadian tradition I love is ice skating in winter. Families go to frozen lakes and skate together. We fall, we laugh, and we help each other stand up again. It's a simple moment, but it feels like freedom. I miss that sometimes, especially when I see pictures of my family skating together.
In Brazil, one tradition I miss is the June festival, called Ehue Junin. People wear colorful clothes, dance traditional dances, and eat food like sweet corn cake and peanuts. There are games, music, and decorations everywhere. It feels like a big, joyful party full of culture and history. When I see old photos of that festival, I feel a strong wave of nostalgia.
It is amazing how traditions shape who we are. When I was young, I did not think about these things. They were just normal parts of life. But now, when I look back, I realize how important they were for my happiness and identity. I learned that simple moments are sometimes the most meaningful ones.
Yes, that is very true. When we are children, we don't notice the magic of traditions. Only when we grow up and move away, we understand how special they were. Now I value every memory, every celebration, every laugh, every song. They are a big part of my heart and of who I am today.
Sometimes I miss my country so much that I feel emotional, but I remind myself that I'm lucky because I can carry my memories with me. My country lives inside me through my stories, my food, my habits, and my traditions. Even when I'm far away, Canada is still close. That thought gives me comfort.
I feel the same way. I miss Brazil every day, but I also feel proud. I take my culture with me everywhere and I share it with others. When I meet new people and I talk about Brazil, they see their eyes light up with curiosity and interest. It makes me feel happy because I'm keeping my country alive in my heart and in my words.
Now, I want to talk about life today and how it is different from life in Canada. I live in a country with warm weather now, and it feels very different from the cold winters of Canada. I don't wear big coats. I don't see snow, and I don't need to clean ice from my car in the morning. Sometimes I feel happy about it, because cold weather is not always easy. But sometimes I miss the quiet winter nights, the snowflakes falling, and the sound of boots on the ground.
I understand that feeling so well. I also live outside Brazil now, and life is very different here. The streets are quieter, people speak softly, and life feels more organized. Sometimes I enjoy the peace and the slower lifestyle, but sometimes I miss the noise, the laughter, the music, and the excitement of Brazil. It is funny how we miss the things that once felt normal.
There are also cultural differences that make life interesting. For example, in Canada, people line up for everything. In stores, in buses, everywhere. Everyone waits quietly and patiently. The first time I lived in another country and saw people skip lines or push a little, I was shocked. I didn't know what to do, and I probably looked very confused.
That made me laugh because I had the opposite experience. In Brazil, lines are not always perfect, and people sometimes talk loudly and move around while waiting. When I moved to a quieter country and saw everyone standing silently in line, I felt nervous. I thought, why is everyone so quiet? Did something bad happen? It felt strange, but now I understand that it is just part of their culture.
Another funny cultural moment happened when I first arrived in a warm country. I wore warm clothes because I was used to Canada's weather. People looked at me like I was crazy because it was hot outside and I was wearing a sweater. I laughed a lot later because I realized my body and brain needed time to adjust. Now I love warm weather, but that memory always makes me smile.
I also had a funny moment when I moved abroad. In Brazil, people hug and kiss on the cheek when they meet, even new people. So when I came to a more reserved country, I hugged someone I just met and they looked shocked and stiff like a statue. I felt so embarrassed, but now I laugh about it. Cultural differences make life fun and interesting.
Even with differences, I learned many things from living outside my country. I learned to understand new cultures and respect them. I learned that people can do things differently and still be kind and good. I learned to be more open, more flexible, and more patient. I think that traveling or living in a new place makes your mind and heart bigger.
Yes, I agree. Living outside my country taught me to listen more and judge less. I realized that there is not only one right way to live. There are many ways. People eat differently, talk differently, love differently, and celebrate differently, and that is okay. I feel like I grew as a person because I learned to accept and appreciate differences. I am grateful for that lesson.
But I also learned something else. Even when we change and grow, our home country stays inside us. When I hear Canadian music, see a Canadian flag, or watch snow on TV, I feel something deep inside. It's like a part of me wakes up and says, that is home. I don't think that feeling will ever disappear. It is a quiet but strong connection.
Yes, that is very true. When I hear Brazilian music, or smell Brazilian food, or watch Carnival on the internet, my heart becomes warm. Sometimes I even feel emotional and want to cry, but in a happy way. It is like my heart remembers everything. Family, friends, childhood, love, joy. That feeling is a gift, and I treasure it.
If someone asked me what I miss the most about Canada, I would say the nature and the peaceful lifestyle. I miss walking by the lakes, seeing trees change color in autumn, and feeling fresh air in the morning. I miss being surrounded by silence and beauty. These small moments made my life feel calm and meaningful.
If someone asked me what I missed the most about Brazil, I would say the people. I miss the warm hugs, the loud laughter, the long conversations, and the way people love to enjoy life. I miss how we can make friends anywhere, in taxis, on the street, in a store. I miss the feeling of always being surrounded by community and love.
Sometimes I think about how living in a new country changes your personality. When I lived in Canada, I was a quiet person, and I did not talk to strangers often. But after moving abroad, I started talking more, meeting new people, and opening my heart. I think being far from home made me stronger and more confident. It pushed me to grow in ways I never expected.
I had a similar experience. In Brazil, I already talked a lot, but I didn't always listen carefully. After living in another country, I learned to listen more and understand people better. I learned not to assume things and to ask questions before judging. These lessons helped me build better relationships and become more patient. I feel grateful for this change in my life.
Another big difference is how people show friendship. In Canada, people show friendship in a calm and gentle way. They give space, they respect privacy, and they support quietly. At first, I didn't understand this way when I moved away because people didn't call or text all the time. But later, I realized that friendship can be quiet and still very strong.
That is interesting because in Brazil, friendship is big and loud. Friends call you all the time, visit your house, and sometimes make plans without asking first. It can feel chaotic, but it is also full of love. When I moved away, I missed that a lot. I missed friends showing up with food and saying, "Let's talk," without warning.
Sometimes cultural differences are confusing, but sometimes they're funny. I remember once I asked a person, "How are you?" And they answered with a long, emotional story about their day. In Canada, when we say, "How are you?" it's usually just a polite greeting. So I was surprised. I didn't know what to say at first, but it made me smile later. It showed me that some cultures are more open with emotions.
I also had a funny moment like that. Someone asked me, "How are you?" And I started telling a long story about work, family, and my whole day. They looked uncomfortable because they expected only a short answer like, "I'm fine, thank you." I felt embarrassed, but afterwards I laughed. Cultural misunderstandings can be uncomfortable, but they also help us learn.
Even though life is different now, I learned how to enjoy both cultures, the one I grew up in and the one I live in now. I take the good things from Canada, like kindness and patience, and I take the good things from my new home, like warm social energy and confidence. I put them together and they help me become a better version of myself.
I love that idea because I do the same. I carry my Brazilian happiness, music, and passion in my heart. And I also learned peace, quiet moments, and organization from my new environment. When I mix these two cultures inside myself, I feel complete. It makes me feel like the world is my home, not only one country.
Sometimes I think about how living in a new country changes your personality. When I lived in Canada, I was a quiet person, and I did not talk to strangers often. But after moving abroad, I started talking more, meeting new people, and opening my heart. I think being far from home made me stronger and more confident. It pushed me to grow in ways I never expected.
I had a similar experience. In Brazil, I already talked a lot, but I didn't always listen carefully. After living in another country, I learned to listen more and understand people better. I learned not to assume things and to ask questions before judging. These lessons helped me build better relationships and become more patient. I feel grateful for this change in my life.
Another big difference is how people show friendship. In Canada, people show friendship in a calm and gentle way. They give space, they respect privacy, and they support quietly. At first, I didn't understand this way when I moved away because people didn't call or text all the time. But later, I realized that friendship can be quiet and still very strong.
That is interesting because in Brazil, friendship is big and loud. Friends call you all the time, visit your house, and sometimes make plans without asking first. It can feel chaotic, but it is also full of love. When I moved away, I missed that a lot. I missed friends showing up with food and saying, "Let's talk," without warning.
Sometimes cultural differences are confusing, but sometimes they're funny. I remember once I asked a person, "How are you?" And they answered with a long, emotional story about their day. In Canada, when we say, "How are you?" it's usually just a polite greeting. So I was surprised. I didn't know what to say at first, but it made me smile later. It showed me that some cultures are more open with emotions.
I also had a funny moment like that. Someone asked me, "How are you?" And I started telling a long story about work, family, and my whole day. They looked uncomfortable because they expected only a short answer like, "I'm fine, thank you." I felt embarrassed, but afterwards I laughed.